Good morning, sunshine. This is Waylon Lewis, live from Boulder, Colorado, and I am going to show you a little present I got. It's from a Boulder company. I like to bicycle on the roads, and I just got in this little case, I got my first pair of new glasses for bicycling that I've ever had. I had a hand-me-down pair when I first started, and I still haven't worn these. These are from Zeal, which is, and this is why I'm showing it to you guys, this is plant-based. This is not plastic. I don't know how that works. So I'm kind of curious. But I guess I can't figure that out now because we have to talk about mindful love. So yesterday we started talking about mindful love, and the video got cut off a couple times, which is sad because it was around 50,000 people watched it live, which was exciting. That's despite the getting cut offs, or getting cut off repeatedly. And so it seems to be a subject that people want to talk about or learn about. So this is love from a Buddhist point of view. And I have a book, Things I Would Like to Do With You, which yet again I have forgotten to bring with me. It's over there. I'm the world's worst sort of promoter of things, which is good because I'm trying to be a journalist, and journalists, there's this great quote about journalism that says PR journalism should drive people crazy, and basically piss off the powerful. Anything else is PR, which is a quote I love. So if you're just tuning in, Sharon from Manchester, Leslie from Tustin, thank God it's Friday. Please say where you're from. So the mindful love that I talked about in Things I Would Like to Do With You, and Ashley could put that link in, maybe with a quote that you like or a Instagram link. There's basically two notions of love in popular culture. In popular culture, books, rom-coms, all these things are what we, when we're young, learn from in terms of what to look for. Just putting do not disturb on so I don't get any phone calls. So one of the notions of love is that I am alone and I'm looking for love and I'm not complete, and eventually I'll meet the one who is out there and kind of up there on a pedestal, and then we'll live happily ever after. You notice most of these rom-coms end right at the beginning. They end right when the relationship starts because it's almost impossible to show happily ever after because it doesn't really exist in the way that they're depicting. There are truly, genuinely happy relationships that go on for a lifetime and that are meaningful and beautiful. But they are accomplished because of each person's trust in one another's basic goodness. The Buddhist notion that we are fundamentally good, that, as Pema says, you could put a link to basic goodness in the comments, Ashley. Basic goodness, Trungpa Elephant Journal. That there is, that our mind is like the sky. Our basic nature is like the sky, and clouds are thoughts and emotions that are difficult. And nothing's wrong with them. Clouds produce rain, but they're just momentary obscurations of the clear blue sky and the sun. There's really no fundamental problem with any of us, with you, with me, with any of us from a Buddhist point of view. And just as I always say, this is not like a Buddhist sermon. None of you need to become Buddhist. No one really cares. Buddhism isn't trying to convert you. This is simply meant to be accessible and helpful for your daily life. There's Sarah from Minnesota. So, and yeah, Sharon made a cute comment. My piggies live in the now. Now where's my veggies? So the now, the present moment, that's a great point, that we talk about in Buddhism isn't divorced from the past and the future. The now needs to include, I need to pay my bills, I need to go buy vegetables for my piggies, It isn't the sort of now that animals might have, where it's kind of just what's going on. Now is more like the now that maybe someone having their first acid trip might experience. It encompasses everything, but it's completely ordinary, and you don't need drugs to experience it. Maybe coffee. Kicking Horse coffee. It's organic, it's dark roast, and I love it. I can't get enough. So that's the one kind of love. And it's really fun to watch movies like that when you're burned out and you just kind of want to escape and eat some popcorn and Netflix and chill with yourself or with a loved one. But then there's the sort of things I would like to do with you notion of love, the Buddhist notion of love, which I've written about in a blog called, you guessed it, the Buddhist notion of love, which we could put in the comments. Or you could put love is selfish in the comments, which is about actually an unselfish love. So there's a love that isn't just about you and me and me and you and us and our problems and our love and our sex and us and us and us and us. It's this sort of self-obsessed love, the kind of Jerry Maguire, you complete me love. There's the notion that I actually complete me, that I am always alone, but that's not a bad thing. Loneliness, aloneness can actually be beautiful and wonderful. Like the shakuhachi flute, the sound of loneliness can be beautiful. And that a loved one is simply a delight and a partner to walk down the path of service with love, service with fun, not martyrdom service. So yeah, if you're liking this so far, please give it a like or a share. If you do that particularly early on, you can give it a crazy emoticon. It helps the Facebook video get through the algorithm and reach hundreds and hundreds of people who maybe have never tuned in. Maybe thousands and thousands. We've been reaching around 50,000 people per live hour, which is very exciting. It's been growing a ton every week. I think even a week or two ago, I was super excited about getting to 25,000. So that's with your guys' help. So the mindful notion of love, the mindful notion of partnership is that there is space between you. It's not two flames becoming one. It's not you complete me, but it's that you're partners and you can kind of dance the dance of a relationship, and then you can walk down the path of service to be of genuine benefit. And the cool thing about this is it allows room, like bamboo bends in the wind instead of resisting and then breaking. It allows room for difficult times, for change, for independence, for creativity. It's not stifling, but it's not a cold room. It's not a cold space between us. It's the space, again, like in dance, where humor and play can happen. I wrote about that in Things I Would Like to Do With You. It was something like, for I care more about space than love, for in space we can play. And often what is lost in love is a sense of play, a sense of humor. Love becomes this rom-com thing where you're running through the airport and everything's so beautiful, and they play some Bob Dylan song and oh my God, and there are beautiful emotions and tears and things that come up with love, of course. So I'm not trying to make fun of that, but there needs to be some sense of delight and light touch with love. So, what to look for in a mindful love? This was prompted by my meeting someone the other day, and I don't know her really at all. And I was thinking to myself yesterday, after I just met her, what do I want to know from her? What is important to know from someone who you've just met? Obviously, there's some level of attraction, otherwise you wouldn't be interested. So beyond that, what is important to know? And I felt like basically, fundamentally, I wanted to know what her priorities were. Did she want to serve this world with some sense of joy and ambition, a positive ambition, meaning I really want to do some good, as they say in Dead Poets Society. And Ashley, one of my favorite blogs I ever put together was called Death Happens Without Warning. You can search Death Happens Without Warning Dead Poets Society and put it in the comments. So as we go, Ashley, who's our editor on duty, and Chelsea will put any reference points in the comments. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll also put that in the description of the YouTube video always. And if any of you like these videos, you can do two things. One, you can click live notifications to get the video. Ashley or Lindsay or whomever can put better description of what you do. When the video ends, there's a live notification button, but I think you could probably do it on facebook.com/elephantjournal at any time. And then on YouTube, you could put the YouTube link in. That should be in right away, Ashley. As soon as I start the video, that should be in. The newsletter link should be in. We've gone over this. And the subscribe link should be in. So if you want to support independent media, you can subscribe. If you want to just get our best online magazine, our best content for free, that is elephantjournal.com/best. So please get those links in there right away, as I've asked. So what do you look for? You look for someone who prioritizes something that's important, not just getting a nice Mercedes and having a comfortable retirement, both of which could be fine, but trying to be of service to this world that has immense suffering in it. We can actually, if we've been given a lot, we can actually help to alleviate suffering. Allen Ginsberg, who I knew when I was growing up, said, "To ease the pain of living, everything else, drunken dumb show. Everything else is just sound and fury. It's pointless. Even if it's fun, some of it's fun. And then there's some point to it. So, and then from a positive point of view, we can contribute joy and we can contribute beauty and we can contribute fun to the world. So that's really a meaningful partner to look for. Beyond that, obviously you want to look for someone who, if you want to have children, you want to look for someone who loves children and wants to, is going to be a good father or mother. There's lots of secondary kind of priorities that are all important. You want to find someone who takes care of themselves physically, who doesn't, one of my friends says smoking is the biggest red flag or the easiest red flag or something in someone. Smoking is cool. It looks cool, but it's a sign that you're willing to poison yourself directly. And a lot of us get caught up in that. You could put a how to quit smoking link, or a smoking before and after link, Ashley, in the comments. A lot of us get caught up in that. I smoked a little bit when I was young. I smoked Nat Sherman's cigarettellos, but I never smoked really more than one a day. I never, luckily, was very addictive about it. But, so people get caught up in it. But at some point you have to wake up and say, wow, I'm literally poisoning myself. And you don't want to necessarily be with someone who wants to do that. So you could get together with a smoker and kind of help them quit. That could be a good cause. Alrighty. I think that's about all I have to say since we covered most of it yesterday. But the idea, since it got cut off, was to go over any of your comments or questions today. So we have 300 people live. If you want to get that number up to 500, you could give this a like or a share or a funny faced emoticon. All right, Wendy, here comes trouble. Sharon from Manchester. Carly from Perth, Western Australia. Good morning. But yeah, please give it a like. I'm seeing a bunch. Thank you, folks. Rachel, Suffolk. So these are free. The way, if you appreciate them, you can reward them. It's just to kind of like share them or get our newsletter. Try and support Elephant, and then we'll stick around. Akam from Iraq. Didi, or Didi. I found oh, well, that seems to be spam. So let's delete Didi. Ashley, Chelsea. Why isn't that deleted already? Being a boss is fun. Elena, Bremen, Germany. Deborah, Sharon. My guinea pigs are sitting listening to me by the stove. That's the cutest comment in the history of cute comments. Mary, good morning from Big Lake, Washington. All right, I'll just read a couple more. It's always so cool to see where people are from. Sasha from Slovenia. Sasha, sorry. Cool. Srita from Kenosha, Washington. Alfred from Rhode Island. Kelly from Sonoma. Fran from Kent, Washington. There's that link for my book with a little quote. All right, Dorrance, here's a comment. Mindful love to me is a purposeful love that effortlessly gives itself without expecting anything back. Sounds good. I don't know about effortlessly. I have found that when you're expecting in return, you're not fully giving of yourself. I call it that golden moment when out of nowhere you just want to say, I love you. That's beautiful, yeah. It should be natural and effortless in a way, but it also, you know, like all koans, love is takes a lot of practice and effort to overcome our habitual patterns in a way and to be present with someone again and again and again and again. So it should be natural, but it also takes work. I don't know if that makes sense. And I do not talk from the point of view of an expert, but just simply someone like yourself who has been through it and experienced it and read and studied and been taught a lot of Buddhist teachings on this subject. Michelle, love these conversations. Feels like we're in the same room. Don't change a thing. Makes my mornings better. Thank you. Thank you. It was very sweet of you, Michelle. It's very rare that we thank anyone in this world for anything. It's a good practice for all of us. Fran, I'm a crab and in my shell. I'm a crab too. July 16th. Amy, tuning in from Salt Lake City. Hoping to apply more Buddhism in my life, needing more patience and focus in my thoughts and way of life. My number one recommendation would be, well, I wrote it up in 10 Buddhist classic Buddhist books for beginners. Read some Pema Chodron or Trungpa Rinpoche or Suzuki Roshi. There's some fantastic books. Just get a book in your life, read a little bit. I like to read Training the Mind. It has a whole bunch of little slogans. Always meditate on whatever provokes resentment. Number 49. Always meditate on that which is most difficult. If you do not start right away, the moment a difficulty arises, it is very hard to overcome it. Boom. So if you have a klesha attack, if you have a difficult moment, sit down, meditate, go for a walk, contemplate, go for a walk with a friend, talk it out, deal with it right away. Or begin to process it right away. All right, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Windy, wet and windy southern Oregon coast. Leah, yeah, if you know a good independent bookstore or other organization that wants to host me in Chicago, we have a couple invitations for doing book readings. I'm always happy to do book readings or to give a mindful relationship talk or other on behalf of Elephant Journal. We do a ton of big talk show events in Boulder for many, many years with around 500 people, really fun. And we do videos of them and, you know, we Instagram them and Facebook them and share them up on Twitter. I'm having a lot of fun on Twitter these days, at Elephant Journal on Twitter, if you're a Twitter kind of person. So yeah, if you want me in Chicago, just email publisher@elephantjournal.com with Waylon in the subject bar, and if you have any kind of budget, that helps. But yeah, let us know. Satyaki, can you please mention the blog again? Hopefully it's in the comments. I'm not sure which blog you're talking about. Jackie, Vancouver, Canada. Yeah, just look in the comments. Ashley is hopefully working hard getting those in the comments. Wendy Iniguez, the notion that you both have to become one is a little unrealistic. People will never be 100% right for each other. Yeah, and if you are 100% right for each other, that's kind of boring. You know, I'm not even 100% right for me. I disagree with myself and I learn and I change my mind and I open my mind. None of us want this kind of static, perfect cocoon. There's a great blog on Cocoon where Trungpa Rinpoche, we could put that in the comments, where Trungpa Rinpoche talks about how our egos want a cocoon. We want to be safe and warm and cozy, just with our Netflix and we never want to leave, and we never want to be brave, and we never want to be afraid, and we never want to, try anything scary. But then eventually we want some fresh air, and we want to open the windows, and we want to rip open the cocoon, and we want to dance, and we want to play. And fundamentally, we need to be open. Nothing wrong with, taking care of yourself. Like if you're an introvert at the end of the day, or if you're a Cancer like me at the end of the day, no matter how outgoing people might think you are, getting cozy and taking care of yourself is a beautiful thing. That is the blog called Maitri, which I always recommend everyone read. And if you already have read it 20 times, because I've mentioned it 40 times, it never hurts to read it again. They're kind of, if you are needing to work on making friends with yourself, read about Maitri. Allison, love has become a fabricated notion due to the influence of the media. If we can blame the media, if we can deal with ourselves and see other points of view and try to find some moments of happiness. Yeah, beautiful comment. I agree. That said, the fanciful notions of love go way, 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 way back, way before BuzzFeed. Fran, I'm looking at working with Habitat for Humanity, but my job is getting in my way. Well, that sounds wonderful. But yeah, it is a balance. I mean, you have to make a living. You have to relate to that. So yeah, if you want to subscribe to Elephant Journal, that's what pays for our editors to forget to put links in. And that pays our writers to do good work for you. And that's about $1 a month, so it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, heavy drinking, right, Carrie? That's not going to be great either. Reggie, I can be someone's and still my own. Shel Silverstein. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quote. I love that. Morning from Dallas. Kelly from Sonoma. You should get together with the other lady from Sonoma. Kathy, Pennsylvania. Life is precious. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite blogs, if you see that in the comments. Video, Death Comes Without Warning. It has that quote from Robin Williams where he says, what will be your mark in life? What will be, it's from Dead Poets Society. What will be your, I think he's actually quoting Emerson or Thoreau. What will, you have one verse. What will your verse in life be? And I remember being a kid and reading the Encyclopedia Britannica back in the day before Wikipedia and saying, I want to have one paragraph in there by the time I die. And what can I contribute? I was raised a Buddhist, but I also had ambition to do great things. And ambition can be a blessing because it's just energy and focus if it's harnessed not to ego, but to service. There's a quote for you, Lindsay. Laura, and Ashley, if you can mention that to Lindsay, if Lindsay's not on. Laura from Manhattan in Kansas. Christina from New Jersey. First-time listener, welcome. How cool. Noella from Bristol. I had an ex-girlfriend from Bristol. It's a rough and tumble city in some ways. Good music scene, I think. Sharon, Arizona. Reggie, Cleveland. Lene from Myrtle Beach. Patty from Leamington. All right, any comments or questions? Cincinnati, New Hampshire. Brenda, so am I saying someone who smokes is incapable of mindful love? No, I definitely didn't say that. So just listen to what I said. If you want me to re-clarify what I said, I'm happy to. But I did say it quite clearly, and it is a video, so you can always go. Michelle, good morning. I will pass on the cute smoker drinker I keep speaking with at the Irish pub. Winky face. Again, cute comment, but it's not what I said. Someone can quit. Someone can change. Someone can improve. It's a red flag in terms of someone who's making the decision to not be kind to themselves. So anyone, we can help one another to improve and to be healthy and to love ourselves. We shouldn't be judgmental in that way. But once we're getting to know someone and we're with someone, and if they express a lack of interest in changing or opening up or being kind to themselves, at that point, you might say, you know what? I don't want to be French kissing a smoker for the next however many years. All right, hope that was helpful. Raylene, thank you for taking the time to do these videos. Hey, thank you, Raylene. Gochevek. So if we seek to do no harm, but we are harming ourselves and our happiness to not hurt others and disrupt the lives of others, are we being generous or selfish? I'm not sure if I understood that, Andrea. So if we seek to do no harm, but we are harming ourselves and our happiness in an effort to not hurt others, I need to smoke some pot for that question. Totally, dude. I honestly, I'm not making fun of it. I just don't understand it because I'm not that smart sometimes. So maybe if anyone can explain Andrea's comment, or Andrea, you can explain. It is not a criticism of your question. It sounds like a good question. Sounds like it relates to idiot compassion, where you can be kind to someone else but hurt yourself, or you can be kind to someone else and actually be hurting them. So Andrea, maybe read about idiot compassion. We'll put that, and Ashley will put that in the comments, please. Diane, I love lots of people. Some more than others. LOL. Some people just are not as expressive about it as others. It is sometimes hard to love without any expectations, but yes, I know I am loved. That sounds good. I don't know what to say. Okay, Fran seems to understood the question. She said, Andrea, that sounds self-destructive. Alexandra McGinnis. Alexandra, I mean. She was one of our apprentices and TAs, one of the leaders of the elephantjournal.com/academy. So if you want to join Elephant and learn how to blog and learn how journalism ethics and learn how to social media, you can join the academy. And Ashley, if you can put that link in, that would be great. Alrighty. Yeah, there's the blog about the cocoon, which is beautiful. It's from Shambhala by Trungpa. Sergio Toledo. My book was such a great, honest, and genuine read. I appreciated it greatly. It reminded me that even in the current state of dating and relationships, that love genuinely can exist. Well, good. It is a balance, and it's healthy to feel all the emotions. It's been instead of hiding from the difficult emotions. It's been a struggle to stay positive in the Tinder age of dating and meeting someone mindful, and these vids in your book are great reminders to stay true. Thank you, man. That was a very generous comment. I did a video on the Dharma of Tinder, on the Tinderification of dating. I think Tinder in a lot of ways, Ashley, if you don't mind putting that in the comments, keeping you busy. I think Tinder in a lot of ways is super practical. Online dating is great. We have a lot of good blogs on online dating. The good and bad, and some helpful tips for how to do it mindfully. So nothing's wrong with it. We don't need to be like, technology bad. But there is this sort of speediness. There's a game playing, I guess, is what I would want to say, to a lot of dating these days that is sad. And I finally kind of learned how to play the game. I write a lot about how to play the game in things I would like to do with you. And the good news is the way to play the game is not to play. You don't want to win the game. You don't want to win a game of when am I going to text? When is she going to text? I'm going to pretend to be tough. I'm going to pretend to be uninterested. You don't want to win that game against someone who you might potentially love. You want to maybe play a game together, but you don't want to win and you don't want to lose that game. So really the only way to win that game is not to play. And if someone is trying to play games in dating, they're not being genuine, they're not being awkward, they're not being straightforward, they're waiting forever to reply, then it might be best to just not play with them and say, look, they might be a great person, they might be hot, whatever, but they're not mature, and I'm going to try and date someone who won't play games with me in my heart. Be good to yourself. Diane, yes, so true. Each person individually has to make themselves happy. Christine Goodeye, sorry, I tried to clean up my nose a bit, but I've had 4 bloody noses in the last week. So I didn't think folks could really tell because it just looks like my mustache is particularly shaded. But good eye. Lisa, thank you for all that you do. The nose man. Oh, I guess everyone's noticing my messed up nose. Kimberly, FYI, after I write this comment. Oh, all right. Kimberly dislikes me. After I write this comment, I will be hitting unlike. Your comment about your employees was the furthest thing from love. Geez, good luck, girls. Yeah, so I have maybe 22 staff, and I think that's a good thing to bring up, Kimberly, and I appreciate it. But I'm not talking to you, apparently, because you've already left. So number one, if you unlike everyone you ever disagree with in your life, you're wrapping yourself in a yes man cocoon, a club. And we don't need to do that. We can have a conversation about difficult things. And that's actually the title of a chapter and things I would like to do with you. As we know from being a parent, any of you who are parents, being able to say no is just as valuable as being able to say yes. We can say no without being, what's the right way to put it? We can say no without being cruel. We can say no without obliterating our sense of appreciation for someone. I love Ashley, and she knows that. And that said, there's very clear instructions for how to host these videos for the editors. I'm paying them money that you paid us in subscriptions. An Elephant is independent media. We can't afford to not work as a team. If you're rowing a boat competitively, and one or two people are not rowing the oars, they're, reading a book or something, that's fine. Maybe it's a good book, but they're not listening. They're not being part of the team. And we are a staff and we need to play as a team. If we are going to have any chance against the media that all of us love to criticize, the media is almost always backed by huge corporate money. Elephant is 100% independent. If you want to keep us around, if you want to see us succeed, our editors and me, we have to work as a team. When I've been very clear about incredibly simple things. Listen, Ashley and our editors and myself have the honor and the privilege of serving you. We need to work hard to serve so that Elephant can grow. Part of working hard is listening, disagreeing if we don't like it, but if we do accept it, say, always put the newsletter link, always put the subscribe link first thing, because I mention them every single time, so just get them out of the way, put them in the comments. Then we should do it. We should follow through. Our word is our bond. My word is oak. And if it's not, my language is meaningless. So, Kimberly, unless you've been a boss or a parent, and I'm sure you've been both, I have no idea, you really can't judge someone like me who is in the very difficult position of herding cats, basically. Very intelligent, wonderful cats. We love cats. But when you have 22 staff and they don't do what they've agreed to do, they don't communicate with one another, then it is someone's role to communicate the big no, not just the big yes. And finally, I don't need to be Mr. Big No if the rest of the staff can be honest with each other and communicate like adults to one another. Then they can communicate yes, they can communicate no with one another. Does that make sense? So often when there's peers and staff, they never will push each other to be great. They never will call each other on bullshit. So then it's just left to the boss to come in and always be like, can you please do what we agreed to do? It hasn't been done. So it's not fun. So Kimberly, thank you for bringing that up. I definitely would feel bad for being a jerk, but sometimes we have to practice saying no, and we can do it without being a jerk. I actually did a video, Ashley, if you're still here, if you haven't quit, if you and Kimberly aren't running off to make voodoo dolls of Waylon, you could put my big no video in the comments, which actually was one of our most popular ever. Seems like a lot of us are good at saying yes, but we can't say no. And again, saying no can be equally kind and equally helpful in creating an enlightened society. So it's a good conversation to have. It's a different video than I thought we were doing today, but mindful business, mindful parenting, mindful relationships, as you've seen with Mr. Donald J. Trump. There are definitely situations in life that you and we need to be able to say no to. All right. Sun going down in the Netherlands from Rika. Hello to you. Bubichka from Macedonia. Hazel from Jefferson, Maine. Hordy, cool name. Bezkoravini from Brooklyn. Hello from Norway. Everyone's asking about what's in my nose. Yeah, so I had a bloody nose again. Christine, if someone doesn't find you physically beautiful, do they truly love you? That's a really tough question. There does need to generally be attraction in romantic relationships if they're sexual. But as we know, we can be attracted to someone's character and someone's heart just as much as their body. And if we're only attracted to their body or their face, that's not full attraction either. We have to be attracted to the in and the out. So if they're not attracted to the outer part of you or them or someone, maybe it's just friendship. And by just friendship, I'm sorry I said the word just. Friendship is a beautiful, wonderful thing. So we don't have to force a square peg into a round hole. We don't have to say, we're best friends, let's be romantic as well. You could just enjoy your friendship if you're not attracted to each other. I hope that's a fair answer, but that's a difficult question. So Christine, thank you. Aaron from New Orleans. Michelle, yes, it takes work and give and take on the part of both individuals. A solid core of friendship is essential. Drew from Oklahoma. Jeremy, fantastic. Likewise, I'm straight, but I support equal rights for everyone. We all should. It's just common sense. And hopefully at some point we can extend that to, basic rights to animals, which is beginning to happen more and more. But maybe, they're different, but they need some basic rights. They have emotions, they have friends, they have families. All right. Tamara in Texas. Melanie, it's also not good to get in a relationship with the intent of changing them. I've heard that a lot. I don't know that that's totally true. I have the intention of improving who I am over the years. Any partner of mine, I would love to help her or him, if I were gay, to improve. But that said, you're saying, yeah, there is some sense of like, you're not good enough, I want to change you into who I want you to be. That could be a little messed up, but we can help each other to flower, right? To manifest fully as ourselves. So I think, I love your point, but basically we can help each other to flower as ourselves, not try to change people into someone they're not. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's that quote. Ashley just put the quote with the link, that the powerful play of life goes on and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be? Andrea, I am silly. Thank you. I know, we need a little humor. That got serious with what's her face? Ariadne. We need to sing a song. Rachel, and that's defeating the whole cycle. Love yourself first, then you have more love to give. Well said. Hope, is it possible to encourage mindfulness in someone else, or is it simply a personal path with the idea of finding it organically in others? Yeah, I want to say the second one. It's a personal path for people. So yeah, if I get together with someone and I say, I want you to be a Shambhala Buddhist, I want you to go meditate, I want you to do all these things, that's not really how it works. So like when I was a child, my mom couldn't make me be Buddhist, right? She had to invite me in. We could meditate together. We could do chants together. I could go to the Buddhist inspired school and summer camp. But at some point I had to make my own personal connection to the philosophy and to the meditation practice of Buddhism, or not. And either way it was fine. And I wound up doing it, but it took a long time. But then when it happens, there's no sort of rebellion. You're doing it for your own reasons, so it's beautiful. But hope you can invite someone in. I love that question. It's such a koan. Again, we've had a lot of koans today. So you can't invite someone to go to, say, a Shambhala open house and do a meditation and lecture that is free, and you eat little cookies at tea in your open house lecture night, and you meet some cool people who are like-minded. or like interested in learning meditation and how to practice kindness for themselves and others in their daily life. But you can't force someone to walk that path. They have to do it for themselves. Laura, how do you feel about people who say, I'm marrying my best friend? I have amazing best friends, but I feel my love is different, more deep for my partner. Thoughts? Yeah, I think that's kind of what most of those people are saying. We want to marry our best friend, but we also need to be attracted to them on some level. So my best friend, right, for the last couple of years has been Dave Rogers, who works with Elephant, and but he and I have a very different relationship than he has with his wife. You know, that's a far more intimate relationship by the nature of it. So we might love each other, we might get into each other's business, we might help each other to grow up and be there for one another when we're having tough times and have fun together, but it's still not as intimate as a romantic best friendship. So in things I would like to do with you, I write quotes, love is friendship set afire. There's some chemistry that happens with that friendship that turns into love. So I think your friends are onto something, that marrying someone you have unconditional friendship with is incredibly powerful and really the only trustworthy thing to marry. But you also still have to have that intimate love and some attraction for who they are. Susie, if a relationship causes pain to you just so you can help others, it is a toxic relationship. Yeah, I'm not sure if I totally understand how you put that, but pain is going to be part of a relationship. That doesn't mean it's toxic. Suffering, relationships are hard. You know, it's kind of like anything worthwhile is going to be difficult. But that said, yeah, if you're abusing one another, if anyone's abusing anyone, that's not helpful, obviously. Yeah, I think we throw around the toxic thing a little bit too casually. I'm not saying you are. I'm not totally sure what you're asking. I did a video on Ashley, if you can go to youtube.com/elephantjournal, on toxic relationships and that term. That might be helpful. So, you know, a lot of people who are into positivity view any kind of criticism as toxic. Well, it's not. Criticism needs to be constructive and it needs to be kind, but it can be incredibly helpful in our lives. We are talking about criticism a lot today. Andrea, sometimes we are in relationships that make others happier than they make us. So is it generous to stay and fill that person and learn to love in imperfection? Or do we search for more for ourselves, knowing it will leave the other person wounded? Andrea, I feel like you're answering your own question. So Suzuki Roshi of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind says, it is wisdom, which is seeking wisdom. So the notion in Buddhism, what we always do in as a Buddhist teacher, I would say, well, what do you think? And then I would allow you to answer it. And I feel like you're answering your own question. It's not generous to be in a relationship that doesn't fulfill yourself as well. It needs to be mutual. A relationship is a mutual dance. So in your analogy, you're dancing wonderfully and the other person's just sort of like sitting around, basically. It's almost like a lap dance. A lap dance is not a relationship. That said, if, you know, I'm sure that relationship is far more than that. And if there is some potential for you to both enjoy one another more fully, you could try that, because a relationship is a path and it can open up and it can improve and it can change. It can go up and down. In Things I Would Like to Do With You, I write from a Buddhist notion that genuine love can be up, genuine love can be down, and yet genuine love never wavers fundamentally. So